Welcome to Smash Writing. And today we're back with another animation review, this time Perfect Blue. We talked last time when we did Paprika, how you originally started this idea back, way back on the blogs or something?
Well, we started doing the animation stuff with One Punch Man.
Yeah.
And it was just an idea, but I knew eventually at some point we were going to get to Paprika and Perfect Blue.
Because these are two that you really, really wanted.
Yeah.
So, you said you're going to change this up a bit when it comes to talking about the plot.
Well, first off, this is directed by the same director from Paprika.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
And normally what I do is I walk you through the movie. I don't think I can.
Yeah, this was...
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to explain this movie to you a little bit. And then we'll go into the notes and all that fun stuff. But
Are these all for this film?
Oh, this is all Perfect Blue. Yeah.
But that's stack too?
Yeah, this is all Perfect Blue.
Oh my god, folks.
Alright, so Perfect Blue is about a woman named Mima? Mima. That's not her full name, but forgive me. But she is a pop icon. Begin the film. She's with a...
I want to... For a second there, I thought I rented the wrong movie because I thought I was like watching an animated...
Oh yeah, because it's done with like the Powertron thing.
And I was like, wait a minute, this is like... I'm like, Power Rangers meets fucking Transformers. Like, what am I watching?
Troopers, is that you?
Yeah, but go on.
But she's part of this band called Charm, I believe it is, or Cham.
Yeah.
And this is all kind of like a little flashback with her. And it's her last day on stage. She's going to try her hand at being a full-time actress instead, and she's going to leave the band. And as the fans round up, and we do see her stalker for a moment. We don't know that yet, but you can tell looking at him, there's something wrong with her. And it's a very big moment. The crowd almost hijacks her big moment where she's announcing she's leaving, and one of her bandmates see her stalling. And they roared it like, "You're graduating, and you're going to leave us to go be an actress." And we see her on
Justin Timberlake.
She gets a lot of fan notes, including one that just threatens her over and over again. And she gets a fax that's threatening her. She's getting a phone call from her mom, like, "What are you doing? You're supposed to be a pop idol. That's what you wanted to be." And she has a manager who's fighting for her to be a pop idol, and her agent, or a producer, is like, "You need to leave the band to focus on acting." And it does play in later. But we see her on set, and she's going over the one line. She has one line in the show, and she's very nervous about it, and she's sitting there all alone. And everyone around her is talking to each other, but she's by herself. But someone sends a note, and it explodes in his face. It was meant for her. And it was a warning. But as the movie goes on, she's dealing with more and more stuff from her career, and she's becoming divided on, is this really who she is? She's doing a lot of things in her job that she doesn't necessarily want to do, but feels like she has to do them. And it's adding to her identity crisis of like, is this really who I am? And on top of that, she finds this website. I love everything about this internet conversation. I'll come back to it. But she finds this room called Mima's room. And it is a diary written it's from her perspective about things she does in her day that she actually does do in her day. And things that she thinks about and does and says and happens. And a lot of it is that perspective telling her that she doesn't want to do any of this and she wants to be the pop icon. Because in her job, she's doing stuff like simulated assaults. And she's posing nude for magazines. But as she's doing this, her stalker is watching all this, and he's becoming more and more enraged, believing that she's losing the innocence and beauty that she was as the pop icon. And in his delusion, because he's one of what we've learned later, 2 people adding to Mima's room. And in his mind, the Mima who's the actress is the imposter, and he's going to have to eliminate her. And while all of this is going on, all this is fueling Mima's dissociative identity crisis going on. She doesn't know who she is, and she's beginning to suffer psychosis and seeing herself as just a pop icon when she's in the mirror and everything. And it's slowly driving her crazier and crazier. And you begin to lose track even in the movie what's happening in Mima's life, what is her psychosis hallucinations, and what is the show she's shooting. At the end, she finishes the show, and everyone is celebrating and cheering her, especially for how good she's been doing. And she goes to leave and is assaulted by her stalker, who comes really close to emulating the assault scene that she filmed in the show before she hits him in the head with a hammer. Then she passes out in a friend's arms, Rumi's arms, and she wakes up, and this got me for a moment. And she's looking around her place, and it dawns on her that she's not home.
Yeah.
It's this apartment made to look like her home when she was a pop icon, and she took it all down to start the actressing career. And we learned the second stalker is Rumi, who's dressed like she was in the red outfit and everything. And she's trying to kill the imposter now. And she just barely manages to fend her off after a big chase through the city, and she's getting stabbed with that ice pick and an umbrella at one point. But she manages to fend off Rumi, who gets knocked into the road, and she thinks the oncoming truck is spotlights from the crowd and is posing, and Mima just manages to knock her out of the road, and we see her several months down the line. Rumi's in an institution, and Mima's watching her from far away. And she knows she's never going to get her friend back, but she's still thankful for her. And she walks by these two people. She's like, oh, that can't be the real one. And when she gets into her car, she looks at herself and goes, no, I am the real one. Meaning she's finally found her identity and this new life she has set out.
Okay. Foremost, was that all your notes there?
Yeah, everything else is review.
Okay. So you read the plot. This had a lot of good twists and turns. And I think the subject matter...
The psychological character work throughout this show is incredible. Because, first, let's get out the obvious way, right? You've got the dangers and pitfalls of what these people really do. What the pop icon is supposed to be pure and innocent, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
While all of her fans are like toxic fans in the crowd throwing stuff at her and insulting her bandmates. And then you have the one stalker, we'll talk about stalkers, but she's trying to graduate into an actress, and she's getting threats, and people are doubting her, and people are trying to make decisions on her career more than she does.
Mm-hmm.
And she's already under all this stress from, am I doing the right thing? And then we're on more stress by these producers who throw out this R-word scene that she's going to be filming, which is very stressful simulation thing, and they just expect her to bounce back to the next scene, and she's struggling with that because she didn't really want to do it, but she felt like she had to, and that's the same with the nude photography scenes. And that's being thrown on her stress, and her fan bases are going one way or the other, and all the pressure she's facing from the world. And then they throw on top of that the stalker situation.
Right. You know, this film, this animation film, touches upon such real topics of what, I guess, entertainers as a whole, because, you know, some people do start their careers off as singers.
Yeah.
They want to move on to other things, but you have a fan base like, no, I loved you for your music, and we know these fan bases can get so out of hand that they forget that there is a person involved here. You know, there's who you see on your stage, and there's somebody who just wants to explore more dreams and goals. Then you take on to another subject of, like, how Hollywood is, and how, like, for a long period of time there, beautiful women had to do these types of scenes to get ahead.
They do a good job at people think, like teenage girls especially, like that's your dream job, right? The pop icon or an actress. And what they do here is they rip off the overlaying of skin and they show you the ugly inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is
Yep.
what it's like. And these are the dangers you face.
Yep. And then, like, so you have all this. Then you have the aspect of what it does to the person themselves. You know, how she's going through these mental states of wondering. You know, it felt so real because we watch tons of movies and review and try to look at all these actors' stuff, but understand, like, they're people and that they take this type of verbal abuse and mental abuse to go, like, all they want to do is they want to live their lives and do their dreams. And then you have producers saying, you got to be nude, you got to do this type of scene, and very uncomfortable and always second guessing yourself.
No psychological help for her either to get through that scene or to talk after it. It was just on to the next scene.
Yeah.
Do it again. Because the guy messed up, so we got to talk from the top now.
Yeah. It was this movie is very detailed with, like, spot on with the subjects they were trying to hit upon.
That's something interesting with that scene, so I really don't want to focus on this scene too much. I want to get away from it. But the only one who apologized to her was the guy who was simulating the forced action for apologizing to her for having to redo this. It wasn't the producers or the directors or anybody.
Yeah. I think, like, you know, in any type of scene like that, because it can go bad the wrong way, that it should make everybody uncomfortable. The ones that actually have to do the scene, they're the most uncomfortable while everybody else is watching that.
Yeah.
And they don't care because it's like, all I see is money. You're making this movie. This is what people want to see. It's like, not really.
I loved how the Mima's room and everything, how that added in and played into it with she's in such a vulnerable state, and she's reading this journal that's not hers, but it's so down and detailed in the things she does that it's adding on to her situation.
Which is scaring the crap out of her,
Yeah.
petrifying her, because, you know, like I said, it's everything that she actually does, and, you know, so you factor in your career stuff, now you got the stalker element that's playing a harsh part. So this was very interesting to watch because, like, at times he's like, what is the movie? What is her? Because every time she's in a scene, like, you're watching a scene, then they pull back and in the show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait. Because I caught myself doing that a couple of times.
No, the director did a great job in that, especially leading up to the climax of this movie, to where even you, the viewer, get lost in this.
Yes.
You don't know what's dreaming or what's her or what's the stalker doing in the Mima's room. And even one kill, the guy is really killed, but because she's so lost in the delusion of everything that she's envisioning herself killing him, even though she's not doing anything.
Right. Wow.
There was the one scene I really love this scene because it sets the table perfectly for everything in this movie. It's when she was on the set, she had the one line, and it's, "Who are you?" And she's saying it over and over again. She's a bundle of nerves, and she looks up, and she's looking around the room, and she is all alone in a room full of people. The other actors are talking to each other, the directors and producers are talking to each other, the agents are talking to each other. No one is there to talk to her or help her at all.
Sounds about right.
And that was a powerful way to set the table for what was going to be this movie.
So.
I have art and animation. It is a bit dated, but I still think it holds up.
I'll give your final report on this.
Oh, this is a hell of a ride. I couldn't suggest strongly enough to watch this movie. S tier movie?
My final review is, first and foremost, you just talked about the graphics. The graphics held up for its time because this was like 99 or
97 to 99 range.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with the quality of the film. I loved the topics that they were touching upon. Very graphic with that scene.
Well, you know what? When I heard about it, because I heard rumor that there was going to be a scene like that in this movie, But I didn't know it was going to be like that.
Yeah,
That it was a stimulated one from a movie set kind of deal.
right.
It was 97.
97. I like the pacing of it too. Like they didn't drag it out. It was only like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, hour 21.
21. Perfectly fine because they told the story that they wanted to tell. They gave enough of character development. They filled you in everything that they needed you to fill in. I had no problem with this. Very intense subject matters of like a person, the stalker, to the harassment, the change in career, the people who care about this and not care about you, blah blah, all that type of stuff, and her just wanting to be herself and almost starting to question.
Yeah, because like I said, she's already in such a vulnerable state because she's taken such a giant leap.
Yeah, I mean, no. So yeah, for my final grade too, I am giving it an S. I think it is a great animation film. Like
Yeah.
it's an. I don't give S's out very often. I'm very there, but this is definitely an S movie.
Yeah, I strongly suggest watching this movie.
Yeah, as an adult.
Honestly, teenage girls could probably use a lot from this movie too.
I agree with that.
Especially if you're looking at being pop icon actress kind of deal.
Look at it this way. Just label yourself as an entertainer. That way you can tell your fans, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to entertain. Don't be a singer. Don't be an actress. Be an entertainer.
Well, again, like that goes into the stalking thing. Like that, Mimami guy, he only sees her for the pop role, not as a person.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter if you're an entertainer.
Yeah. Until next time. Bye-bye.